Episode one.
Love, love, love.
Wow, that one guy's like screaming.
He's really hyped to be
He's
here.
really hyped for the
He's like,
podcast.
Before this podcast started, I didn't know where I was supposed to be. I'm here.
You're supposed to be here,
With
sir.
us.
Yeah, well, I'm not supposed to be here. You know what I mean?
I'm not supposed to be here. Okay, so let's start off with introductions. We'll go with the youngest first. The youngest in the room.
Okay,
Young
well,
Sage over there.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
Young
introduce
Sage.
yourself.
Shout out to my my artist name, Eclectic Sage. But my name is Christian Felix. I am the youngest in the room.
At the ripe age.
At the ripe age of 21. 21. I'm a woo. So yeah, this is a privilege to be here. This is the I'm Not Supposed to Be Here podcast. I'm one of the co-hosts. I'm looking forward. I'm very at the moment I'm in school. So I'm in school for computer science. So I'm claiming the computer science degree. I'm a computer scientist.
That's you, bro.
I am a musician / rapper / R&B artist / experimental person.
Oh, I didn't know the R&B was in there too.
Yeah, we-
Okay.
Honestly,
We
I
gotta
didn't know
explore
that either. Okay.
Yeah, R&B, but I cannot sing. So we fix
That is cap.
we fix it in post.
Cap, cap, cap.
I mean, does it really matter if you can sing these days?
Not really. You could experiment. That's
Bro,
why I was,
you
like,
can
experimenting.
sing. I don't know who you're trying to be humble for here. You can sing. You honestly can. I don't say that lightly.
No, well, thank you. I was in choir for a little bit, but I have very nuanced experiences. I don't want to shout out the rest because I gotta let my other podcast go, my other co-host go.
Hey.
So next is Lucas.
All right, that's me. Hi, everybody. Yeah, as Christian said, it's truly, truly a privilege to be here.
Woo! Oh my gosh!
Cue the screaming man.
we gotta clip that one man and just sample him specifically.
It's like the Wilhelm scream, you know?
Yeah,
that? But yeah. Again, I'm so psyched to be here. For lack of a better word. But yeah, my name is Lucas MG, Lucas Miguel Gustin.
Woo!
Doxing myself here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, sheesh. Okay, Christian's 21. I just turned 30, the big 3-0. Actually, that was in January. It's March 25th, so I didn't just turn 30.
It feels like yesterday.
That it does.
Time is an illusion.
I don't know. By trade, I guess. Well, not necessarily by trade, but by interest, by passion, by heart. As of currently, I'm gonna wear the title of designer.
Woo! Claiming it,
Designer.
claiming it.
Like usually, thank you.
Woo!
all.
We gotta claim it.
you
We
all.
gotta claim it. Yes.
Oh, there's the screaming guy. Okay, I heard him.
See.
Usually, like, I don't know, everything leading up to this, I would say skateboarder. Not that that's my profession by any stretch of the measure, but lately, all of my time has been going to designing. Like, really, every second of the day that I'm not at the 9 to 5, it's like designing 100%. So I'm gonna wear the title of designer.
Dedication.
Yes.
Got the work right here.
Yeah,
Of course,
woo.
for our
Shout out.
audio listeners, can't quite hear, but
What is the sewing machine you have?
the sewing machine, that's a Juki DDL 8700.
Oh,
For all my sewing heads out there.
Yeah,
Y'all know the vibes. Industrial standard, that Japanese strength. Yeah, that thing is a true machine there.
Very
But-
interesting to look at. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah, thanks. It's truly a beauty.
I see the little like thing that you push your foot on.
Yeah, the pedal. It's crazy because sewing machines really have not. I mean, besides electricity, they really fundamentally haven't changed since like their inception.
Yeah, that's a lot of designs, like in general. Like as
It's true.
I mean, you still build a house the same way.
It's true. Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff. A lot of improvements is just like fine tweaking.
Certainly.
Once you get it the first time, usually when you get the prototype's the hardest.
I mean,
They got it
like,
in.
how many improvements have they made on the toaster? They just added more.
Yeah, they just
More
added
toast
inserts,
inserts. Yeah.
more coils probably.
More
That's
coils.
about it.
True.
More coils made it more energy efficient.
Engineer in the building.
But I
Yeah.
mean, a toaster is still a toaster.
Yeah.
That it is.
Shout out to
Sewing
Pop-Tarts.
machine's still a sewing machine.
Toaster
But to wrap up my summary, I would say, in addition to those two things, I'm an avid podcast interviewer,
Woo!
whatever you want to call it, listener. I'm a huge fan of the craft and of the art and of the just the art form of dialogue. I think it's extremely important, just to go alongside I mean, photography, videography, for the documentation of everything. I mean, imagine all of the countless influential, most important people in history. And I mean, it's only until the last maybe century that we've been fortunate enough to capture their own words, their own recordings. So
Yeah, definitely.
I love the craft. I think that between the three of us, we have some really beautiful stuff to contribute
That's
to the
a fact.
world.
That's a fact.
So yeah, I'm just psyched to be here. Contrary to our name, I'm not supposed to be here. I am supposed to be here.
We're
I
gonna be
guess
playing
that's
around with the name of the podcast. Definitely a lot.
Yes, love to hear it. So yeah, that's me, Mr. Righteous. Let's hear it.
Hey.
Trent Dixon.
Woo!
In the building.
Where's the applause? We gotta,
Oh,
we gotta,
hey.
I gotta make sure push all the buttons on the soundboard.
Gotta make sure that screen is in there. Yes, my government is. I'm not gonna say the whole
My
name.
govy.
I was about to give out my whole name. But Trent, last name D, aka T Dizzle.
T-Dizzle.
Trenticus, Dizzy Righteous,
Woo.
Brother Righteous.
Brother Righteous,
Brother Righteous. I love
Black Ronin,
Woo.
Dynamic Lover, all that good stuff.
You know we're artsy characters where we have like 17 different like, aliases and we all own up to all of them. Like I don't know.
Yo, I'm a huge nickname guy too. So.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Also, I was gonna attribute that to me being around the longest because I'm the oldest. But you know what? Yeah, we'll take that as artist. But
More iterations of your eras. You probably have
Yeah.
like a lot more eras than me. I'm trying to figure out my eras.
I'm 37.
Woo!
Yo, shouts out to
Shout out to old age because
To wisdom.
wisdom and good choices. You made it this far.
Absolutely.
You are supposed to be here.
I am
Absolutely.
supposed to be
Contrary
here.
to the
I wouldn't
podcast
say I've
name.
made the best choices, but you know what?
Choices
They've all got me
nonetheless.
here. But what do? I do photography, drawing, painting. Not of recently, but a little bit of videography, which Lucas does. He didn't mention, but I'm still
yeah.
going to throw it in there because
Retired.
you know I feel like as when you do art, it never really leaves you. Like you still notice
true.
things about it.
Yes.
But I mean, I also write poetry. You know.
I didn't even know that. That's really great. You gotta show me some of your stuff.
Yeah, I'll show you some of my poetry. All right,
Hey.
so I think we should start out with how we all met.
How we all met.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I think
all
that'll
right.
be a nice, moving into the future.
Copy that.
So
I guess you guys should go first.
yeah,
I'm
I-
rel- I'm
yeah,
relatively-
that,
I'm
that, that
relatively
sounds
new to
appropriate.
this
So what was this?
Christian, how did Trent and I meet?
Yeah,
10 years
Christian.
ago when you
Tell
were
us the
8.
story that happened to us. How do you imagine?
Yeah.
like I don't know. Like I don't know.
How did it happen
how'd
to,
it happen?
to your
So-
blank
so-
knowledge here?
So Lucas was like coming off of like that one time where he like tried to do this one jump and then like hurt his arm. So then and then Trent was just like doing poetry in the park and just saw it happen and was like, "Oh my gosh, you need help!" And then
Are you okay?
are you okay? And then they went to the infirmary together, and it's been a bond ever since.
Something
Wow.
like that.
Yeah, that's
Something
pretty
like
close,
that.
actually.
really?
No,
Wow,
no,
no,
not
no,
really.
no.
Okay,
you guys gasped.
So, but that was a really beautiful imagining. So I'm not gonna get into the whole thing, but I graduated in 2004 from high school.
Shout out to 3-year-old
Did a
me.
little bit of community college. Stopped for various reasons. That story may come out later on. And then eventually I went back to college in 2010, moved out to Denton, Texas from Austin, Texas.
Ooh.
And at the time I was working at a country club, and one of the sister country clubs was in Denton, Texas, and I started working there. And that's where I met Sir Lucas.
Oh.
Enter me.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. That must have been, dude, I'm going to say like 2013, I think, 2012.
Yeah, I think it was 2012. I'm pretty sure it was 2012.
So I graduated high school 2011. I was like totally, honestly aimless, completely and utterly aimless. I really didn't know what I was doing, where I was going, or even almost what I was interested in. I mean, my life leading up to that.
aimlessness, though.
Yeah, man, it'll-
Shout out
Shout
to
out to
aimlessness.
aimlessness.
Doors that will
So
open.
wanderers make the best, take the best scenic routes.
I love that. I love that. But yeah, so like super aimless. Prior to that, I mean, my life in high school had consisted of like skateboarding, smoking weed, and like living for free at my parents' house. So
Woo!
I,
The
yeah,
parents.
needless to say, whenever I had an entire open schedule, I was kind of aimless. But anyways, living with my parents, my my parents made me get a job. So I was like, what do I even do? Like, do I have to go apply at Little Caesars Pizza, or like, do I? I
That's a
do.
good. That's a good spot to start. You know,
Where
I
do I
guess.
start?
get them nice squares, pepperoni. Ooh.
But I literally had no idea like whatsoever. But my dad, he was a or he is still like an engineer, I guess you could say. So he had a plug at the country club. Whatever. They got me a job there. Or I applied, got the job there. And that was really where I met Trent, obviously.
Oh wow.
He was part of the wait staff, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
Wait
I
staff?
was. What was I think we were. I don't think we didn't have front and back weights then. What the hell did we have?
It was like you
This
were
is-
part.
this is
You
all
were
in
like
Texas,
Yeah, I was.
right?
Yeah, I was definitely part of the
yes.
weights.
So this is like a
Yeah.
northern suburb
This
or
was,
metroplex
yeah,
of
this is
Dallas,
at a
Fort Worth area.
country club where the
How
rich
are
people, but
country
not filthy
clubs?
rich, but they were
Yeah,
still
like,
rich
like
by.
one degree above like upper middle class, maybe.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
okay.
Yeah, that's a good way to
That-
put it.
That's a
But
good
yeah.
description.
Trent
Okay.
Trent was like the waiter, and I think I was like, I don't know, I was like either the dude that brought the food out.
The back weight for whatever
Expo.
Yeah,
I
expo.
remember
There we
the
go.
time
That's
I
what they
did,
call
yeah.
it. They call it the expo, which is essentially
Yeah.
a back weight, which you
Oh
deliver
man,
the food.
working
and
expo
then-
is tough. I
I
had to do that
was
for another job. Expo was tough.
so like scared. I remember trembling at like the thought of like speaking to people and taking their order. That shit just freaked me out.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, Trent and I hit it off. Honestly, I really couldn't tell you our first like grounds of like or common grounds, I guess you could say.
But that's good. That's when you know, like you interacted with this person for like long, and it's like genuine, where you don't even have to worry about like, oh yeah, this is like the exact date we first met. It's just like, nah, I know you forever.
Yeah.
that's what it feels like.
And
Yeah.
it is seriously crazy that we've been, I mean, good friends for over 10 years now.
Yeah, it's been over 10
Woo!
years.
It was let's
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
hear
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
hear
yeah,
it for 10 years. right
Shout
there.
out to 10 years. That's a decade of friendship.
Hold on, my
That's
favorite
all.
Man, we could do a whole freaking EP for the sake
The
of our
crazy
own
adventures.
sentiment, or what's the for our own nostalgia, but that would bore
Yeah.
everybody else that
Yeah.
wasn't there. But
Yeah, I
I mean,
feel like
maybe
the-
once they learn us and they love us, because you will love us, people.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're forcing it. We're forcing it. But
you know, maybe we'll share some of those gems.
great times.
Yes.
Yeah, I think anybody that's ever worked in like the wait staff industry, or that's probably not the culinary. No, culinary is more
I
cooking.
think just
guess.
food generally, like restaurants.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
you can
such
call it,
a strong sense
hospitality.
of camaraderie.
Yeah,
Hospitality.
hospitality, yeah,
correct.
really
A good
Such a
umbrella.
strong sense, and yeah, I think we just clicked from there, and man, had many
Yeah,
many
we were in the
adventures along the way.
trenches back then.
In the
That was definitely a trying job.
Absolutely, as any
Yeah.
wait or hospitality endeavor goes. But yeah, so that was us, and then man, let's see. And then I moved to you moved to Austin first post graduation. Then I moved to Austin later. Whatever. Few lives in between that point. Fast forward to when did you start working at?
I had started. So my thing was like I was coming out of high school in like 2019 ish, and I was like all in school. So like I didn't work during school years because my dad was like, "Nah, focus on school only because you have your whole life to work." And I was like, "Wow, that's really deep." He was like, "You have your
Great.
whole life to work." He was just like, "I got it for now. You got it in the future." And I was like, "Okay." So I'm coming out and I'm like, "Oh shoot, I have like no job experience."
And
So-
this is high school.
and this
correct?
is like so I'm graduating high school. So like now I'm like I was like 18 at this time. This is like 2019.
Would your side note? This always interests me? Would your dad like give you like a little allowance, like $20 a week, or like?
Nah,
It was just
not like
like-
that. I would have to ask. Like he always made it important that I
It's
ask for like money.
Circumstantial, like, hey,
Yeah,
I need-
like hey, I need it for this thing, and he'll be like, okay, I got you. Or
Okay.
like generally like, hey, can I have this? And it was just like, yeah, it was just to get me, because when I was younger, I was very timid, and I didn't like asking for stuff. And he always was like, "Closed mouth does not get fed." And he was like, "Unless you ask, because if you just wait for things to get given to you, it won't come."
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah, like that type
Malcolm
of stuff.
X.
Yeah. So
Pause button for a second. So,
yeah.
when we were speaking earlier and we said Denton and Austin, we were talking about Texas. We're now recording this from New York City.
Yeah, New York
New
City.
York City.
Eventually, we moved from Texas to New York, which we'll get into later. But back to
Indeed.
you, Christian.
Yeah, I am a residential New Yorker. I was born in like the island of Manhattan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I have a privilege because there's not that many people that are born here.
It's
But,
true, dude.
New Yorkers are anybody that just survives here and just witnesses the surrealness of the city.
As a native New Yorker, is the 10-year benchmark, is that
I don't
legit?
I
or
don't think
no?
that's accurate because there's some people that lived here for 10 years and have not seen anything.
Okay.
But there's people that have been here a day and have seen the world.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Well said.
So
time is an
10
illusion.
years plus being attacked by a homeless person.
Oh my God.
That's the
Rite of
that's the real
passage.
test.
I have so many stories of the train. Right now the
I heard
listeners
it
are
insane.
yeah. My body language changed and I just had the 1,000-yard stare at like the James Dean Wilson. Like so many stories on the train, so many things. But anyways, back to the thing.
2019.
Yeah, 2019, looking for a job. Yeah, ended up working in like retail, and then I worked there for a little bit, and then I met Lucas through that way.
Hey. It's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
Yes.
Then man, really as of recently, I had the grand idea, I'll flatter myself here, of
I love it.
I mean, Christian and I at work always chopping it up. As
Yeah,
the
we've been
view-
having profound conversations at work.
Seriously,
Sometimes like
bro.
people, the customers are like, "I did not expect you to talk about this
yeah,
in the store right now." Like
the other day, Christian, like we were like he was doing a critique of the Buddhist philosophy, and like the guy was like, "What?" Like his ears kind of perked and turned his head to the side. He's like, "Wait, what? Like what is
Yeah, like
going on at this cash register of
we
the
be
store on Fifth
philosophizing.
Avenue?"
philosophizing, politicking,
Absolutely.
politicking.
And so from many of our endless dialogues, and again, as the listeners will come to understand, Christian, at least in my opinion, is a complete encyclopedia of really any wide span of topic.
Thank you. I
and I'm
appreciate that. I feel
absolutely,
the same
man.
about everybody here.
I don't say that lightly.
But shout out to us.
Yeah, shout out to us. We gotta give our flowers to ourselves.
Absolutely. And so through many of our and that's why, again, one of the many reasons I think we all complement one another is that like I'm somebody where like I always have like 1,000,001 topics going on in my head, and like I'll kind of center in on one of them, and then I'll like boom, like relay it to the next guy, in this instance, which would be Christian, and like yeah, he'll like give me like a background on it, and then like his viewpoint, and then like from that I remember, or like it leads me into my next thought of what I was originally thinking of, and therefore discourse, dialogue, what have you, is commenced. But anyway, so through the many, I mean, we've been working together at for however long now, probably like 3 years. I mean, pre-COVID.
Yeah.
But anyways, always had such riveting dialogue and conversations, and through that, again, Trent and I have been friends for like 10 plus years.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Like, I gotta take Young Gun right here and like introduce him to Trent. Like,
yeah. What a cinematic meeting. That was a really nice like day, or like nice way to meet you.
It really
Yeah.
was. Was that okay? So well,
It was like
actually,
a-
it was
what did we-
first whenever we were walking.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like
and
a
we
restaurant
met
thing.
up at what was the
Sunrise
restaurant?
Mart.
Sunrise Mart.
Yeah, we went up Sunrise.
We
Mart.
didn't go, but
No, but we went to some other place to eat.
We
and it was
went
really
to
good.
we ended up at Bonchan. We tried
Yeah.
another place before that, and I think
Bonchan.
there was there a
Bonchan was good.
line there. Was that?
Yeah,
nothing
it was,
too eye catching.
it was Black Iron Burger. Shout out to Black Iron
Oh,
Burger.
that's
Yo, I
right.
just ate there yesterday.
Was it
Fire,
good?
right? Did you have the
Yeah,
mushroom
it
truffle burger?
No. I
Oh,
forgot that was a place.
man.
I had the turkey burger.
What?
It
How was
Whoa,
that?
that sounds
was
good.
fucking delicious.
That's great.
I recommend that place profusely because I needed to stay in business so that I can make sure I go over there. Like,
Yes.
Wait, are we saying names on the? Should I not say
For-
Black Iron? Maybe we should bleep it out.
For what?
for what?
For Black Iron Burger.
Oh no,
No.
Christian needs
I-
him to stay in business, right?
Yeah, I mean to stay in business, and I feel like I guess we could just focus on places around the city we could name, just so that we support small businesses.
I
There
like
you
that.
go.
I like that. But yeah, we met. Yeah, I mean, I guess we all met up there. You know, one thing that again, I was talking to my mom last night, having a really great conversation, kind of giving her a background of like what we're doing and where we're going with it. And she was asking me about both of y'all. Trent, you know my mom. Christian, you don't. But
Yeah, I have not.
I was just telling her
Privilege
about the conversation we were actually having at Bonchon, and one part that really resonated with me was like, I remember, Christian, you were talking about like being a unwilling, if you will, passenger of your parents' trips to IKEA, Costco, all these other different
Yeah,
locations.
I used to be in stores for a long time. Funny that I work retail now. You would think I would hate it.
You could say you were up in all the stores.
Yeah, I was in all the stores. I
When
was
it
Christian
rains, it
Dior,
pours.
when it rains, it pours.
But I loved what you said, and what I told my mom was just like about how back in the day, like you had to, or like at the ripe age of however old you were like reasoning like while you're sitting in the IKEA playroom, like just like the situation at hand. And I mean, again, that's one of the countless really meaningful conversations we've had.
Yeah, I didn't remember that, but now it's coming back.
yeah, and like that was really, I mean, yeah, kind of the genesis of like the art of how we all communicate and like bring forth different ideas and topics and like resonating moments from our past and everything like that. And then we came to the Edward Hopper exhibit,
Yes.
Yes.
which is really like the foundation
Yeah,
of
that sort of solidified
what happened
this
is.
podcast.
So
Yes.
yeah, shout out to Edward Hopper. I think we have to give him executive producer.
Absolutely.
Edward Hopper.
I think
Yeah.
Rod Serling too. I think he
Rod-
deserves.
Yes,
Yeah,
Rod
Rod
Serling.
Serling and
Rod
Edward Hopper.
Serling, his spirit definitely influenced this.
Absolutely. So what happened at the Whitney?
The Whitney. Well, was I coming from work that day?
Second
I
time
was.
chilling, all three of us, right?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
the
it was
second
only
time.
like
the
second time all three of us were. I think this is like the third, right?
Maybe third, fourth, somewhere in that.
Fourth.
This is
neighborhood.
third. This
Yeah,
is
this
definitely
is
the third.
Yeah,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look, we're getting the ball rolling.
Hey,
Tell
look
me
at that.
about it. Very nice.
So yeah, I came up. I think I got there last. But yeah, we met up. We started talking about our days while we were. We purchased our tickets there.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
You know, got our coach checked, and
because my
We were-
bag is huge. My bag.
That thing do be busting.
security check.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we proceeded to go into the exhibit, and from there we just started sort of gravitating to different art forms, and that led to so many different discussions about what everything means.
Honestly, shout out to the far west side of the Whitney. That seating area is just
Yeah, that seating
really
we were
incredible.
sitting
Oh,
there
yeah,
for
with
so long.
the window where you can see the water.
Flashing
That's
coming.
I'm posing for a picture, everybody.
Yeah.
Being able to see the water and sit down and to discuss the art that we saw that day and how it affected us, how it made us feel, how it made us think. That was definitely. I mean, it's always, you know, doing a podcast, especially with Lucas, was always something that was like there, because we would walk around the city so many times and explore everything. Like even before coming to New York, we would have like late night adventures, scaling rooftops,
Oh,
things like that.
I need
true.
to be updated on some of those stories. Like I really want to know.
Oh,
That sounds really cool.
definitely.
That sounds
From
really fun.
almost being caught by security
It's
that
true.
one time.
It's true.
Actually, we did. What do you mean almost? She caught us red-handed, but she wasn't gonna chase.
She wasn't
us.
quick
Oh,
enough.
Yeah,
We're too quick.
too
man.
fast. You guys
Yeah,
are giving
but
gingerbread men.
you know, and that's, you know, after having that initial conversation, which is the lost episode. But I really think we should revisit Edward Hopper,
Yeah.
which we will.
Absolutely.
I feel
Absolutely.
like we are equipped to handle that kind of conversation.
Absolutely.
Pretty much,
Mhm.
yeah. By this point, Krista, what would you say? What would you say really laid the foundation and kind of struck the initial matches, if you will, of that? You know, when we were at the Whitney, what elements of that conversation and attributes do you think led us to really
I think
make
it-
plans for a podcast?
I think it started before the Whitney. It was just like the need to like go to the exhibit in the first place. Because like Lucas hit me up like in like at work and was just like, I see this exhibit, we have to go. Let me bring my buddy Trent. We can go. And then we made it there. And then once we got there, it was just like the way we were looking at the art. Like we were just like really like observing it. We watched videos beforehand, so like we studied up. It was just like the actual like dedication to something that otherwise most people would see as like frivolous or just a place to spend time. And then when we had the conversation and we were able to talk about like the micro and macro scale of things, like, oh yeah, this type of art shows like voyeurism and like your relationship between the art and the artist and that type of tension in whatever you create. And then the conversations that like spurred from there, I feel like that was just like, you know, we could talk about this and share this with other people too,
Certainly.
and maybe create like the same voyeurist type of dynamic so that you could kind of experience it the way we kind of experienced it.
Absolutely.
It's funny you use the word need because that was that kind of stood out. To
That
me.
did.
It's
Same here.
it's the need to be drawn to something that means more, and I think that kind of fed into our need. Well, especially I guess I can only speak for myself. That need to create something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I feel something so vibrant, so deep, so moving that I have to, in some shape or form, give it back.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I think that's what I feel about this podcast. This is me pushing that out. You know, one of the various ways.
Yeah,
you know,
imagine.
create.
Absolutely.
What were we about to say, Lucas?
No, I think yeah, need definitely that's just that singular word really stuck out to me as well. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that despite like again how many like endless like podcasts and interviews I've listened to, I mean maybe accumulative to like a year something plus for me, like so many hours put in like almost every stretch of the like again audio recording that we've had for the past century. Like I like to say I've like scaled from like the back all the way to like current times, and so really familiar with like the art form and like how much there is to experience out there and listen to. But even despite the, I guess I'll use the word oversaturation of you know, media and accessibility and things to listen to, I think that like I really think that yeah, there is a need for us to do this as well, just because I think that we have something really unique to contribute to.
Yeah, this is a democracy that
Yeah,
done what was it, democratize or whatever? I can't say the word.
Democratize.
Yeah, there we go.
Is that it? I don't
Democratize.
even
Yeah, there we
know.
go. My fault. I'm a little challenged in that. They democratized the internet, so I mean, you have an equal platform.
Yeah,
even though despite the saturation.
Right. And I think that, yeah, I really think like there is like a really strong need for it. And I think we all really beautifully complement one another in terms of, yeah, just being able to discuss a topic or an idea or, you know, whatever it may be. So, yeah, that really resonates with me as well. And for those listening, this will be really the foundation here. The namesake of our title.
Woo! I was about to say. When are we gonna get to
I'm
the
not
what
supposed
to be here?
All right, so
Let's give it
that's
up
great.
for
No, give a
I'm
shout
not
out
supposed to
our
be
name.
here.
Yeah, so
Whatever the
this
hell
name is
that
so
means.
Hey, yo.
ominous. It's so I love it.
When I was when I was talking to my mom last night, I'm like, yeah, like starting this podcast. Like she was all psyched and stuff. Shout out, mom, if you're listening.
Shout out
to my dude.
Love you,
Shout
mom.
out, Woo.
But
Love
fire.
that
I was like,
that was for both our moms.
I was like, yo, hey, DJ. But yeah, I told her the name. I'm like, yeah, so like it's gonna be titled "I'm Not Supposed to Be Here," and she's just like, like, don't say that. Like you're supposed to be here. Like,
Oh no,
you're here because we love you. And I'm like, nah, like it's like, well, first, again, what the point of me bringing this up was our namesake, which is from a Twilight Zone episode. We will have to report back on our Twilight Zone EP on what exact episode it was, but
yeah.
we'll summarize as far as just saying that that was the general theme of the episode, which is I'm not supposed to be here. And in the brief kind of communication we've done, even locally, of the name, I think it really kind of like strikes a chord with people, and it's kind of like an intriguing name. And I think it kind of means something different for all of us, which I think further amplifies like the potency and the emotion behind the name. But I think that'd be worth exploring what the title means to all of us.
Yeah, I guess
so
you go
if
first. You go.
either of y'all would like to contribute, I'd love to
Oh.
hear your take.
Absolutely. I think we said this at the Hopper Museum multiple times. I know I expressed it. When I hear the phrase, it strikes an existential chord within me.
Existentialism. I love
Ah,
it.
shouts out
Yes,
to
existentialism.
Questioning when it comes to questioning your place in the universe. And I think at some point, every human reaches that point where you're trying to figure shit out. And a lot of people express that through, I was born in the wrong time period, whatever, what have you. But with me personally, it's being in so many places and coming to, coming to I don't know what the proper word I'm looking for, but just coming to grips with where I'm at in life and having to measure that with where other people have told me I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, like
by this
benchmarks
point
and
in
stuff.
life. Yeah, absolutely. And then especially funny enough, when I met you, Lucas, I was, and you can see it very much in the art I was creating when I was going through therapy and dealing with the losses I took, the loss of my dad, the loss of my brother, who's not dead, who's alive and well. Shout out to my brother, I love you so much. But he was in prison, and then the loss of my grandmother, and having all these things and having to deal with them. They weren't there at some point, and trying to figure out why am I, I'm in school, but I'm older than, the majority of my peers, because, everybody, most
It's
of the
very
people
alienating.
there. Yeah, most of the people there are fresh out of high school, and, and they appear to have shit figured out. And I'm still like, yo, I'm 24, 25, surrounded by, 20-year-olds, and which isn't a vast difference.
It's
When
a
you
difference
think
in
about
mindset.
it, but it's definitely a difference.
It's definitely a difference in
I
mindset.
definitely had, and even with, some people being 18, 19, my life experiences were different at that time. So like you said, that was a good word. It can be alienating. So it was me having to realize how much I am supposed to be here. Because having to realize that everybody feels that, everybody feels alone, everybody feels alienated, no matter what point you are at in life. And those measurements, those benchmarks that other people place on you, they're not 100% accurate, because we all go through our own shit. You can't start off in different places and then expect someone to be where you are at the same point in their life. I can't start a race and be like, all right, Lucas, you're gonna start from Grand Central, and I'm gonna start from Texas. And by the time, if we're going on foot, we're not gonna be in the same place.
Right.
So it's it's just having to come to that realization, like, I'm not supposed to be here, but I actually am. And I'm the one who makes the benchmarks in my life. I'm the one who sets the measurements. That's what it means to me. Having that realization of not that I'm not supposed to be here, but that I am, and that I make my own path. And it's not completely original, because nothing is original, but it is mine, and regardless of what anybody else puts on it, it's what I have to do. And,
Shouts out to that. But we gotta hit the little screaming applause guy.
Scream applause, like, come on, man. But yeah, essentially that's what it means, and coming to that realization. So when I excuse me, immediately when I hear it, I go back to those moments of loneliness and all that, and it's not to be sad, but it's to realize that those are the things that made me the kind of person and the kind
especially
of
in that
artist
Edward Hopper exhibit, that loneliness is
Woo.
definitely woo. You feel it. You feel that tangibleness.
Yeah.
You feel like that's that's kind of where the name generally like between all three of us came from. I
Mhm.
think because it was just like I'm not supposed to be seeing like this man like
That's
process
true.
it. Like I'm not supposed to be here seeing this like type of pain voyeuristically. Like
Mm-hmm.
because you could see how he looked at the city and saw like painted the sadness or
Mm.
like the melancholy,
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
felt it in the photos. And like especially when you see something in person, like seeing a JPEG is cool, but like when you see the scale and everything in person, whew, I don't
Yeah,
know. It's a different type of feeling.
it
But
really is.
I guess what I'm not supposed to be here for me is means a lot of different things, honestly. Like for one, uh I'm not supposed to be here is like as far as we're aware in terms of like knowledge and everything. I feel like every human being, like Trent said, it's we never like asked to exist per se, at
Mhm.
least out to our knowledge. So it's just like, what am I doing here? And then the existentialism comes, and then you have to create your own meaning, and then, uh, especially in the current time, everyone goes through the process of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna create my own meaning, and I feel like that's societally been like the thing, which is good because
Mhm.
before there was, as we'll talk about like as the podcast goes on and as we touch on different topics, there's different conclusions you can reach once you try to look at that question. But yeah, the main one that sticks with me is the sentiment of I'm not supposed to be here is very singular in the sense that uh yourself, your perspective feels that like, oh yeah, I'm not supposed to be here. But in order for like the universe to work the way that it does, every action has to have taken place for you to reach that exact spot for you to even say that. So it's a very it's a cool irony, in the sense that you may feel one thing, but the reality of something is completely the opposite. And I feel like in art and like just generally like just the way that society functions, like that kind of like tension between things like really highlights something like really profound and really cool and really
Mm.
funny too, because like that's a funny thing, like I'm not supposed to be here, like oh my gosh. And then it's just like what do you mean you're on the list, like
Yeah.
you made it. So it's a
I
cool
like that.
it's a cool little irony, so that's why I like the title. And also shout out to Rod Serling.
Shout out to Rod
Shout out to
Serling.
Shout out to
Rod
Rod
Serling.
Serling.
Rod Serling. That's truly one of my favorite writers, screenwriters,
Good choice.
screenplay adapters. Yeah,
That's a
he's
good choice indeed.
he's
Good
really
choice.
incredible. For all listeners, if you haven't tuned in, excuse me,
I
to
don't
the
think
original
people that are
Twilight
my
Zone,
own, like my age, know who Rod Serling is.
they don't. You said.
I don't think
What
so.
about are they aware of the Twilight Zone?
Maybe in passing, but
Okay.
I mean, it has been referenced in so many things that like
It
it's kind of
has.
like that soundtrack that you hear in like 2001, the bum, bum, like that
Yeah,
sound,
yeah.
like
The
that sound
intro.
has been parodied. Like the
Yeah.
Matrix, it's kind of like the Matrix kick or something. It's like
Boom,
even though you know not
boom.
like yeah,
Yeah.
like even though you haven't like seen it, you have seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like solidified in pop culture. Or
Yeah,
the
it's like-
zeitgeist.
Absolutely.
You know it, but you don't know it.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, but I mean, ultimately, just I mean, such a prolific writer. He was like huge against, or at least a proponent of like free speech within the, I guess, cable network system. Which, at the
Yeah.
time, can you imagine trying to
Yeah.
battle the powers that be for the, I mean, however many channels there were at that time trying to censor you. I mean,
Yeah,
gosh,
just for
must have-
context, like I think during that time they had like the thing with comics, like the Comics Authority. Like they were censoring stuff. That's why like
Oh wow.
yeah, they were like had a moment where like they didn't have like Batman comics. They had like or like they had to like ban zombie comics or something like that. Like it was too. It was. We'll get into that one day. Like we'll do research,
Yeah, I would love to.
but yeah, there was like heavy like measures that you had to go for like certain media
Wow,
because
I believe it.
because
man.
the children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
Protect
see
the children.
And we see
Yeah.
and we see some of that now currently, like
Certainly.
in terms of
Always.
like so it's interesting to see kind of like how you've seen it but you haven't seen it before, and
Mhm.
like you said, nothing's original. There's a lot of things that you could observe from the past, present, or future, because like time is illusion, but that like give you
Side
insight,
note.
gives you insight into like what you see on a daily basis because there's a lot.
There is. Um, but yeah, I guess that would be the third and final interpretation here of our name. Um, but yeah, to me, I think it kind of certainly mirrors y'all's interpretation closely. But yeah, I think that for me, the I'm not supposed to be here. I think if you're ever in a moment of reflection where you catch yourself saying I'm not supposed to be here, chances are you very well may supposed to have been there. And what I mean by that would be, I think that in moments of uncomfortability or despair or second guessing yourself, I think that there can be a moment of clarity just on the other side of that, which in some sense represents the duality of everything, the yin, the yang,
Mm-hmm.
the good, the bad, um,
Yeah.
the sentiment you're supposed to be here versus you're not. Whatever it is, I think there's kind of like two sides to everything. And kind of balancing between those two things. I think that there's a lot of perspective and there's a lot of beauty and there's a lot of, again, same thing, beauty, pain. Yeah, there's two sides to everything. And I think I know we're all kind of, I want to go as far as to say proponents of existentialism,
Yeah,
but
we all have different takes of it though, and
certainly.
also I feel like with like I said before, you could draw a lot of conclusions that are not what we generally agree on, which is going to
Mhm.
be cool because we're going to be engaging with like a lot of art and a lot of stuff that we probably won't agree with.
Yeah,
Think is trash. Think is whack.
Yeah.
right.
Like I love the word mid. Like
Yeah.
like
It is mid.
like this is just mid. Like I feel, and that's also like a factor of the current times. Like
Mm-hmm.
something just to be good enough, and
Right.
and that's like a societal thing. Like why, and then just getting to the deeper question of like why is that
Mm-hmm.
a thing, and then as time goes on, you're just like, oh yeah, this is like a cool insight. I feel like when you
Absolutely.
just sit on a topic and you think about it or like introspect on like why something is, it's like it gives you some cool
Mhm.
conclusions,
Mm-hmm.
some cool like little insights. I love it, little insights.
Definitely. Yeah. Those are sometimes the most powerful. Again, I think that even speaks to our name. In the little insights, there's huge revelations, if you will. You know, so
It's in the details.
it's in the details,
The
man.
devil's in the details.
It's details.
But yeah, that's what it means to me. I mean, again, I think there's beauty in it, whichever way you kind of you take your approach. And as podcasters, I think we can now declare ourselves. I think that's our duty to explore and touch on and figure out along
Yeah,
the way.
we're definitely wandering.
Definitely
We're wandering
wandering.
intellectually.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question, which
Okay.
I am excited to revisit a few episodes down the line. But I just want to highlight something he said, Christian, which I love. Um, you're saying we didn't ask to be here that we know of. Oh my God, I love
Yeah,
that.
like
Whoa.
Like
you
you
know,
never know. Like
you
yeah.
never know.
It's like out of the millions that were swimming, you know,
Yeah.
or maybe in the past life, you're like,
Or
you know what?
maybe like
Fuck this one. I want to reset.
yeah, like what
Reset.
Bring me
happens?
back
I
when
always have like this
we can
thing.
all drink from the same water fountain.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Continue.
No. I have this thing where like I low key think, I low key think like maybe like okay. So I think there's like infinite versions of me, right? And I think one of them like got in a car crash because like I had a vivid dream and I got so scared. Like maybe that's like his soul got
Shared
this, like,
PTSD
yeah, like maybe
from
he got
another universe.
yeah, because I do not cross around that block anymore. Like I like at night I'm like nope.
Wait, when was this dream?
This was like when I was like 14.
What?
Wow.
You remember
Yeah.
that?
I remember
Profoundly?
the specific thing because it was such a weird dream. It felt like deja vu, like one of those things that you see. So my
Mhm.
dad used to always drive down this one avenue. So you go down the hill, then he makes a left, and then you go right down the hill because I live on a slope, and then I'm on the flat part of the slope on the bottom of the hill, and we usually came from the left side. So there was this dream, and it was just like this guy, and he was walking. There was like a shadow on the stop sign, and then I was in the back. I was in the front seat, and then I went to the back seat because dreams are weird.
Mm.
Anyways, I was in the front seat, and then I switched to the back seat during this portion. But then this guy was speeding down the hill, and then our car went up, and then I witnessed that, and then I woke up, and I was like, oh shoot, maybe I don't know.
Wow.
Weird things. That was such a vivid dream. I was so scared. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, that sounds pretty profound for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely some weird ones. But dreams
What
dreams are interesting.
Yeah, what do you think yeah, this is I guess not directly tied into Trent's question, but what is like I suppose the science on this is pretty loose, but is there any concrete reasoning for the subject matter and the relevancy of our dreams?
Some say like there's general like stuff and for like dreams, because if you're dreaming about like losing your job and stuff, it's just anxiety. It's like a manifestation of your anxiety towards like job security. So it's like you could get like certain
Okay.
things, but then certain ones, uh I don't know. It's a subject of belief.
Mm,
I'm more of a skeptic usually,
okay.
but like some topics I'm a little lenient on. Maybe it's some like little glitch in the matrix. Like I don't know.
As we all are. As we all
Yeah, we're
Certainly.
yeah. Like you can't force it, because I watched so many movies where like the scientists would be like so like it has to be empirical. Like it has to like he had then he snuffles his goggles or whatever, and he's just like big old like
Test tubes
yeah his
fizzing
his big old
around him.
yeah test tubes fizzing, like goggles like like the big water tube ones, like the real,
Yeah.
the real thick ones.
The Coke bottles.
Yeah, the Coke bottle lenses.
His
And
eyes
he's
are
just like,
tiny.
it has to be empirical. It has to be tested. And then he ends up like
So-
falling to like some crazy fate thing. And it's just like, you have
What-
to have a little mysticism in life.
What would that scientist have to say about the nature of dreams, as you were saying?
I feel like they have a lot of different analyses of it, because they do
Mm.
have some like people that specialize in like dreams. So you usually dream when you reach like a certain period of sleep, from what I'm aware of. It's like
REM
sleep.
sleep.
Yeah, REM sleep.
Yeah.
So and then that's why you have like people that like lucid dream. And I remember when I was younger, I used to like love wanting to try it. I did it one time. It was pretty cool. I flew.
I've never done it.
Never done it?
I've flown a few times, you know,
Oh, you
but
flew-
never lucidly. No.
Oh, that it was like only for like it felt like 2 minutes. It felt like really short, because like the problem is like you get really excited and then you wake up.
Mm.
So you have to like be chill,
To
but
balance
like
that.
be flying. Like I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't
Keep it cool,
Like,
keep it
like,
cool.
Like I don't like. You ever seen those videos of like people on a jetpack? Like I don't think they like you can't me mug on a jetpack. I don't think. like you can't.
What do you mean?
Like you can't. Like you can't be stoic on a jetpack. Like I don't know.
Yo, that's the title of the EP.
Stoic.
You can't be stoic.
Can't
on
be
a
so.
jetpack.
you- We're gonna have some fire names. I can imagine. Like
Truly.
Yeah, I'm making notes over
Oh,
here.
he had the soundboard. He's being. Hold up, let me fix my chair. Yeah,
Trent, what about you? Any do you reckon there's any particular relevancy to dreams, or is it all just a odd conjuring of memories and ideas?
My relationship with dreams has gone to so many different heights. As I think we talked about this at the Hopper exhibit, where
Yeah.
I was maybe I know we talked about it one time, where I was so obsessed, like as a young one back in high school, I was so obsessed with the meanings of things. Everything I wanted to learn, what everyone's body language meant. I wanted to know if this person liked me, or this person didn't. What does it mean when they do this?
Yeah.
And that
I do the same thing.
that also applied to dreams. Like I bought the dream dictionary, where they tell you
A
what, if
dream
this
dictionary?
happens
That's
or this
fire.
happens in your dream, it means this. And I've read a bunch of books and listened to people talk about dreams, to the point where I would keep a notepad on the side of my bed.
Yes, you have to do
and
that for
just
lucid dreaming.
as soon as you wake up, you have to write everything down, because eventually, it'll fade.
Yeah.
And that sort of led to me being able to remember my dreams very vividly. And I don't write them down anymore, but a lot of my dreams still sticks with me. But how do I interpret dreams at this current point in time? So I guess the explanation of dreams that sort of sticks with me now is, basically them just being like your brain interpreting stress or whatever it's going through, and just sort of almost random. like firing of thoughts,
Because they do
which
be random.
which in a way would make them meaningless.
Well, everything's
Um,
meaningless.
but if they're, I'm saying, if it's your brain's processing things, in sleep mode, then that kind of makes them meaningful because your brain is still thinking about things. These are still
Yeah.
things that are with you.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like they're meaningless, but they're meaningful. If that makes sense.
I think that's a subtle nod to our title name.
Yeah,
Yes,
shout out
yes.
to there's a thing called absurdism. I forgot his name like off the top of my head, but I bring it up because he talks about like the contradictions of life and like how we live in the absurd. We could touch about this when I like actually research it, but
Mm-hmm.
the absurd is like that little tension, like that
Yeah.
little. They call it like now they're trying to like spin it to like societal things, like oh yeah, meta modernism or something like, which is a cool one. I want to do an episode on that.
Okay.
But like
yeah, I'd love to.
yeah, but I'm just throwing episodes for the first episode.
Oh
You
yeah,
gotta gotta keep
no,
the listeners here.
We're, this is the intro. This is the tease.
Yeah,
of
this
what's
is
to
this
come
is
as
the
well.
tease. The tease. We gotta start selling teas. Shout out to
Oh.
our future. Shout out to our future merch. I'm gonna be the plug. I'm gonna be the plug.
Our first tea. This is
A
the
tea.
tease.
This is the tea. Ah, look, see, look, we're artists at heart. We're artists.
Yes.
We become
That we are.
Always creating.
always creating. What was I
Shit,
gonna
what
say?
was the
Oh yeah,
question?
well,
What's the
oh,
other
yeah,
one?
we
no,
oh, yeah.
Absurdism.
Yeah, absurdism. There we go.
Absurdism.
Yeah,
Hey.
I lose my train
Shouts
of
out
thought.
to Lucas for keeping us on track.
Yes,
Got y'all.
yes.
I got y'all.
I see we're fitting into our roles. This is very
Yes.
fun.
Love it.
But yeah, absurdism just talks about like that little tension between different things and how like there's a play and it's like of the theater of the absurd and it's like Waiting for Godot. Yeah, it was Waiting for Godot. They make you read it for high school, but it's basically two guys, they're just standing and they're waiting for this guy and they're just talking about nothing. And they kind of go in loops and cycles of interactions with like maybe like a couple surprise characters, but at the end of like it's like I think a 2-day period or however or like a 2-day period, but it's like very vague. It's like it's kind of like the title is very like there's no time signifiers, there's no time passing, and
Is this like a short novel or
it's
what
like
is
a
it
short
exactly?
it's like a theater play. It was
Okay.
like it was like a French play because you know the French love like their existentialism and their
Of course.
and they're deeply sad and meaningless plays. They love that stuff, but this one stuck with me. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so they just like wait for Godot, who could be like a myriad of different things. Like it could be like God, it could be like prospects, just some type of news. It's like a stand-in. It's one of those types of things that's like a stand-in, and yeah, they're just waiting for like the whole play. So it's just two guys standing next to a tree, and one of the themes is whether you are supposed to be here, like juggling that type of thing. Like, oh, maybe we should leave, maybe we should dip. Like this guy's never coming. But at the end of every day of the 2 days that we see, there's this boy, and then or yeah, I think it's this child. I don't remember if they say the boy or girl, whatever. Yeah, they say like this child comes over and is like, Godot's not coming today. He'll be here tomorrow. And then they just like resolute in the fact that like they won't see him. But then they come and try again the next day, which is very absurd because why, if you know he's not coming or you have like no proof that he exists or even coming, then like why go? But that's a very deep question because
True.
if you scale that to
Yo, that's life shit.
yeah, that's light. Like if you don't know what's coming, like why play the game?
Yeah.
And
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
so but
applicable.
that's a lot of what's reflected in art that's melancholic, and a lot of what like even with like Edward Hopper and stuff, like that type of like absurdism, like why am I able to see this type of lens type of thing? Like why am I being allowed to see it but I can't like change it, or like I don't even know how to explain it, but there's like very like subtle questions where you're just like
No, yeah.
it's a little absurdities of life.
Certainly. Yeah, I think that's what we'd all like to kind of touch on with the pod and many different topics and theological
Yeah, the T's T.
the Tease
The
T.
tease tea.
I'm gonna interrupt you, Lucas,
Let's
because
hear
you're
it.
going into my question
Whoa.
that I want to
Ooh.
revisit.
Whoa,
Oh my
whoa, whoa,
goodness,
whoa,
the way it
whoa.
works out. So, my question is for everybody. Um, Intentions.
Ooh.
Where do you see us going? What do you want to do with this podcast? Like, what is the purpose for you? Like, where do you see this existing in your life and in the space of art?
I think
if you have intentions,
I think
Mm.
LMG should go first.
All right, I guess I'm up to bat. Yeah, let's see. I mean, I think for us, like, I mean, with where we're at right now specifically, which I mean, we spoke about earlier prior to recording, but I think right now, like the biggest like achievement and checkbox that we just checked, would be just the fact that we're here. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's such a huge accomplishment in its own. I mean, out of all the podcasts that have been started, think how many were said, or think how many like never came to fruition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that is,
Like this is a real thing. Like we're
Huge.
recording right now.
yeah,
yeah, it
Absolutely.
really is. It really is. I'm supposed to be here, man.
but
But yeah, I think where exactly what I want to achieve with this, honestly, I at this very moment I don't have a concrete answer, but I'm 100% invested in the fact that we're here. And I know that being here and within the company of y'all, I know that like we're really going to touch on some really meaningful just enlightening topics. I mean, spanning from everything from I hope we evoke tears at some point.
oh yeah.
I
we
hope
def-
the mic drops because I'm laughing so hard. Like,
Yeah, we
we
had
get to-
you being a soccer player before with the mic.
yes, you'll probably hear a few jolts out of me. But yeah, I think we all get to express everything that we're interested in. I think that between the three of us, I think that we're really great at nurturing one another's interests, in every facet that it may be. I mean, I know I've talked y'all's ears off about sewing, about skateboarding, about James Dean, about everything. And
Shout out James Dean.
shout out James Dean.
Shout
man.
out to James Dean.
Shout out James
He's there.
Dean.
He's looking in the other room, but
He is. For all
He's
listeners,
here.
I have a giant poster of him. But yeah, and I think that again, out of just like the history of all of the many, many countless hours that I've listened to all types of interviews and podcasts, yeah, I hope to just like I hope to bring forth the entertainment and like the company that I have experienced by listening to all these countless hours of interviews and everything, like, and just like the comfort and the solace and the warmth and like the information that I get from listening to, like, you know, these jewel of podcasts and interviews that come around every so often. I just hope that, you know, and that really just dawned on me thinking about it now. I just hope to give somebody else that feeling that I have been fortunate enough to receive
yeah.
from listening to
Shout out to
others.
parasocial relationships.
Parasocial.
Parasocial.
Gotta
yeah.
love them.
Yeah.
But aside from that, what would I don't know. I mean, yeah, really just like, yeah, just sharing what we have to give with the world. I think that's really important. And for now, I'm strangely very, very present right now. I'm usually always thinking about like the thing ahead of us or behind us, whatever. But right now, I'm just so psyched to be here, specifically recording, that I think that we're just gonna create magic every time we're here. So
That's a fact. That's
That's
a
where I'm
fact.
at.
That's a fact. Can we get a round of applause for that? Like that's a
Yes.
fact.
let's hear it. Also,
Yeah,
everybody,
this one
please,
man is going crazy. He
please,
just-
thank you, thank you, everyone.
Shouts out
Uh,
to our number one fan.
Yeah, like
Hey,
we
see
gotta give
you
him
out
a
there.
name. We gotta give him a
screaming
name.
guy. We'll name him Wilhelm. What do you
Will-
say?
Wilhelm.
Shouts out
Yes.
to Will.
Maybe
Shout out to
Will.
Will.
We'll shorten
Yeah,
it.
shout out to Will.
Will.
But also I one of my favorite podcasts ever, the now discontinued Yeah But Still. For any listeners out
That's a
there
fire name
who
too.
need a podcast, again, now retired. They capped at 500 episodes, but Yeah But Still. It was a comedy podcast, which I'm not really like a comedy type dude, so to speak, but I really loved what they did, and again, that warmth and like company that comes alongside that, I just like to hope to deliver that to others.
Yeah,
So that with where I'm currently at, I'll happily update as it dawns on me what I would like to achieve specifically. But right now, I'm just so psyched to be here. So
yeah, this is great.
that's what it means to me.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start from the answer. Yeah, I have like same thing. I have intentions. Like I have things that I want to talk about, but it's
Mhm.
more so just like I just want to see this grow and just try to foster like a community. I feel like a community of people. That's like I'm very community oriented. Like I
Mhm.
like being around people because I feel like we said before, like alienation kind of falls
Mm.
pretty often in like the modern day.
Yeah.
And like you need these types of like interactions and just like hangouts and just
Absolutely.
like we're here. We could judge whether we're like supposed to be here or not, but we're still it's not going to change the fact that you're here. So you might as well
Mhm.
enjoy the company that you have. And I don't know, this just feels good. This just feels
It
great.
does, man.
Like it feels like I'm doing something important. So
I agree.
I think that's the main intention. Also wanted to shout out. This is just a astute observation. Um, I think we all like mess with photography
Yeah.
and like shoot it pretty well.
Mm.
So capturing moments is like
Mm.
always
Mm.
something for us.
And like a
So,
wide,
and like the
broad view of things.
yeah, just capturing moments and like
Mhm.
capturing like the likeness of something.
Mm.
And I feel like in this podcast, I feel like we could capture our likenesses, the likenesses of like things that we like look at, and just like convey the feelings that we could like that we feel usually like the goodness that we feel like just by recording and
Mhm.
just transport it parasocially. Shout out to the listener.
Hey. Yeah, I love that. I love that interpretation.
What about you, Trent? You over by the soundboard?
Oh.
Yes, sir.
My intentions is to not fuck this up.
Yeah, that's
No,
fair.
no.
That's fair.
No,
That's
no,
fair.
no, no, no.
You're like I gotta focus on levels. I gotta make sure
Yeah.
it sounds right.
No, my intentions, I guess, when I think about this and what we're doing and what we're going to be doing, mainly I just want to sit around with people I care about and talk about art.
He
And
cares about us. Shout out to that.
Shouts
Shout
out
out
to
to
caring about
caring.
people.
Hey.
Not everyone has people to love
Can't
in
go
their
about
life.
life not care about nothing.
And if you ever stumble on this podcast, we care about you too.
Yeah,
But
That we do.
Yeah, we do.
back to intentions. Yeah, like that's just one of the things I love in life, just to sit around and talk about meaning. You know, going back to being the young Trent who was obsessed with meaning, but that's one of the things I like to do. I like to just I guess dance with ideas and
Ooh.
think about
Mm,
how
that's fire.
it makes me feel and why it makes me feel that way and how that bounces off of another person and then how their thought can move you too. You know, it all becomes a dance and I love that dance. You know, I love to move with ideas and that's the number one thing. I just want to talk about art. But I mean, I just and back to what you guys said, just that social interaction, being with like-minded people,
Very important.
and
Yeah.
being able to just bullshit and have fun. you know?
Yeah,
That's it.
definitely. Also, I feel like general statement when we say like-minded people, yeah, it's cool to have like-minded people, but we also be talking to people that are not like-minded because like
Absolutely.
you glean some stuff out of there. So you'll see that in the podcast too. Um, also wanted to say you said something really profound, but it like escapes me. So
Oh.
so you're gonna hear me just say it escapes me or like
Yeah,
like-
that's why I had to pull my notes out.
yeah, I may have to
gotta-
pull
I
out my
got-
notes
I
out
gotta-
because you
I
said
gotta-
something really deep, and I was like, "Gosh darn it!"
Was it
Yeah.
Dancing with Ideas?
Yes, it was dancing. Yes, dancing with ideas.
Ha.
Yeah.
Dancing with ideas was like it's just very potent. But yeah, someone offered me this advice one time. So this coming from Eclectic Sage, you know, the little artist portion of me.
Mhm.
This is like a rule of thumb that someone told to me. I think it was my mom. She was like, "You gotta just find someone you could dance with," and like dancing is very vulnerable because it's just like you acting a fool and contorting your body in a way you contorting a body that you barely like. I don't know. You could function with it, but it's just like I don't know. You have a lot of norms and like whatever insecurities or whatever. But like you're just contorting your limbs just to have fun and just to enjoy the vibe and listen to the rhythm.
What were I remember you told me the other day, what were the three things your mom said that you must embody? Pretty good advice, might I say.
My mom is pretty funny. I wish I could have her on the podcast. Maybe I'll keep her one day. That'll be fire.
Get her in the
So,
stew.
get her in the stew. Mom and stew. Mom and stew.
Mom and stew.
Mom in the stew.
Mom and stew. What did she say? You have to be a good conversationalist. You need to know how to cook, and
It was dance, right?
yeah, you need to know how to dance. Yeah,
Honestly, 3 fundamentals.
yeah.
I would have
she
to
has a couple.
agree.
She has a couple more. She's like, oh, you have to smell good too. But
So important.
But it's just like
So important.
she's like, just have these basic things and you'll be chilling. Like,
You know, that's actually something that I've been in pursuit of recently, that in my 30 years, I've never, not to say I smell bad, but I've never
good
had
scent?
a relationship with the fragrance before. Like
Yo.
everybody has, well, not everybody, but like
Yo.
well articulated individuals
it be hitting.
tend to have like
Yo.
a signature
Yeah.
smell. Diz, I feel like you got something here.
I've kind of been in the same realm, and just recently I found something that's sticking with me.
Are
as
you
far
gonna-
as a scent goes.
You can't. You found your signature scent.
I'm not gonna
It
shout them out
is.
No, don't
because
shout them out. You
they're
can't.
a
You
very
can't give away my
popular
scent.
brand, and if
Wait, you
they
should
make any money off of us, I want to make some money off.
you
of
should
them.
tell us and
But-
bleep it out.
Yeah, you do.
simultaneously.
Yeah, look, let's see.
Let
Let's see.
me
Hopefully, we
find
can do
that.
this mix.
So, it is. What is it? It is by. But I mean, it's there's something to that.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
About all those things that you mentioned, there's something to having a good scent. It lingers with people.
Mm.
People remember that.
Yeah.
You know,
Just a
what's
ring.
the saying?
I guess-
sense is the strongest. I mean, smell
Smell
is the strongest sense
sense.
tied to memory.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think those important things, those things that your mom mentioned, that
Yeah,
those are
people be
kind of
dropping
things
gems.
that, yeah, because those are things that make you remember people. You know, if you
Oh,
have a good
yeah.
conversation with somebody,
When
boom, you're gonna remember it. If somebody
Yeah.
cooks you a good ass meal, you're like, yo, I don't remember that girl's
may have to
face,
fix the
but
levels on that.
Yo,
Woo.
what did you say?
You didn't hear me say-
I did it.
That's a trick. That's something funny that you can hear in post.
I missed it.
oh shit,
A lot of laughs. A lot of laughs in
yeah,
this podcast.
a lot of laughs.
Oh
That's,
my
that's one of the
goodness.
things we love to do. But no, all those things, those are things that will, you know, other than helping you survive on your own, will help you survive socially. They'll make you
Yeah.
be
Mm.
remembered, because people are gonna remember your smell.
True.
Like I
Yeah.
don't know how many times people come up to me. Oh my God, you smell good. You know, what
Oh
is that?
man,
Oh.
You know,
and,
it's- it
and
happens.
the
Does.
opposite, like woo. I remember certain train rides where like, woo. I don't want to get into detail, but it felt
Dude.
like, wow.
Dude,
Can I
there
say
was-
one? Can I say one?
Let's
Go
hear
for
it.
it.
Oh
Let's
my
hear it. Let's
gosh.
hear it.
I'm sorry to listeners, but like it felt like I walked into the cart and it felt like his toenails were scraping my eye out. Like it was great. I'll
That's
never.
visual.
That was. I never felt. You should have believed that. That was.
That's crazy.
It was. It was. I never smelled something like that again.
I walked in, to the train yesterday, and it was just the
Dang,
most
so recent.
putrid smell. Like, I don't know.
Shout out
God
MTA
bless
Subways.
whoever was smelling that crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, I think that also speaks to like, man, if you smell great, it's just like, like it's just such a memorable thing. And yeah, the duality of that would be when you smell like,
Yeah, when you smell bad, you'll have
Yo.
people saying to themselves, "I'm not supposed to be here."
yeah, seriously.
Damn.
Yeah, the lack.
You are
of,
supposed to be
like-
there. You're supposed to experience that scent.
Yeah,
But-
to remind you to smell good. But
Shout out to toenails, because wow.
shout out to toenails.
I love ribbon random shout. I think saying shout out to blank is very funny. Like I think
Absolutely.
it's like I think it's like because you never know what you could shout out, but I don't know. I feel like you
shout
should be
out anything.
you
yo,
can shout
like-
out anything. You should be appreciative for life in general.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like it's very fun
Yo,
to just shout out
yo,
specific.
this may
like,
be a first, but shout out to shout outs.
yeah, it's just
Yo,
shout
shout out to
outs.
shout
Yo,
outs.
maybe that should be the EP name.
shout out
Shout out to shout outs.
Shout out to shout outs. I like that. I like that.
It's just the whole episodes of shout outs.
Yeah, we did shout out to our executive producer. You know,
Hey.
So I mean, perhaps in conclusion here, who is like the base and our foundation of where we're coming from?
That's
here?
one of my episode ideas.
Really.
Yeah.
Of-
yeah,
of-
yeah.
sorry, tease,
Of
tease.
talking about like art and things that inspire us. But
okay.
Yeah, that could be,
I mean, we can give a tease though.
Okay.
a little tease.
Let's hear it,
We
Christian.
don't have to go into too much
Ooh.
in depth.
Depends on which aspect of me that you're looking at. Like,
What's
depends.
the most prominent inspiration? We'll summarize there.
Oh, that's very
Even
different.
like as far as like just podcasting or interviewing in general. I have one
Mm.
that actually just came to mind.
Mm.
Oh, for podcasting. Okay.
For
All right, that's
podcasting?
For podcast. Okay, for
all right. The
podcasting.
podcasting lens.
Okay, podcasting lens. Okay, there is this podcast that I listen to. Actually, I listen to several. But there's this one philosophy podcast, Philosophize This, really great. Gets me to think all the time.
Philosophize this. All right.
Philosophize This, The Daily, also great.
Daily.
Nice.
Michael
nice,
Bavaro, fire.
He sounds like he'd have a nice voice.
Yeah, he's really great on The Daily for the New York Times. New
Okay.
York Times, The Daily.
Okay.
Other podcasts that I like, global news podcasts, really great. I also like to balance my podcast so that it's not all completely like left leaning. So then I go to the Journal, which
So then you
has
go
a
to
good,
the Daily Wire.
yeah, no. The Journal has a good podcast.
The man likes balance.
Yeah,
Hey.
balance is key.
It is.
And Financial Times.
Whoa.
Great selection of when you listen to all those in common, you could glean some fire observations about life.
Perspective.
Important.
Important.
Am I going next?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's hear it.
One of my first interactions with podcasts, I felt like it was groundbreaking. This was back in like I can't remember when she started the podcast. It had to be like back in 2009. I was listening to it heavily into the 2010s. It's discontinued now, but Girl on Guy with Aisha Tyler. Aisha Tyler is a comedian who I was in love with so many moons ago. But yeah, what she would do is she would just interview, famous people, and she would have these one, and it started off as mostly being guys, hence
Yeah.
the name Girl on Guy, and
Mhm.
eventually that went into her interviewing women, and so I don't know, she would just have these really in depth and profound conversations about like how a lot of these actors and actresses and musicians started, and it was so funny and so eye-opening, and there were a lot of tears, and at the end of the show she'd do this thing called apology, where she would apologize for the people she offended, and also before that she would do self-inflicting wounds, where that guest on the show would talk about a story, would tell a story that basically where they landed on their face, how
Yeah.
they fucked up a situation for themselves. And it normally be funny, but it made all these famous people seem really vulnerable, and it exposed them in a way that I don't think we get to see.
Yeah.
I mean, and maybe now we do see it because voyeurism, people's lives are everywhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was, if I had to say any podcast inspired me, it's that. And of course, Double Toasted, who I've been following for like 20 plus years.
You
They
guys
started
gotta
off
put me
on
on.
cable. What's up?
You guys gotta put me
Crazy.
on.
Yeah, I got you. Double Toasted started off like 20 years ago, probably longer than that, like 30 years at this point. Like they started off in the 90s as a cable access show.
Wow.
And then from there, once the internet became ubiquitous, they moved up into podcasting, and it's just like they're from where I'm from, Austin, Texas, and I've just been following them there ever since. Always a great source of insight and entertainment. So it's like that's what I'm constantly listening to or
And
watching.
they're still
now.
going,
Yeah,
aren't
they're
they?
still going
Oh, still
strong.
going? Yeah.
And also smaller shout outs to podcasts I dip in and out of, This American Life, The Midnight Miracle with Dave Chappelle, Mos
yeah.
Def, and Talib Kweli.
I gotta
Have you
give
listened to
one
that, Christian?
I have not given it a listen, but I have watched a lot of Dave Chappelle's work. Most definitely listen to his music all the time. Or is it Yasin Bey now? Right?
Yeah, he's Yazin Bey.
Yeah, Yasin
Sorry,
Bey.
I'm a little older. So
No,
I
you're
remember
good.
both
You're
of them.
good. I have to make the adjustment.
You
in case I
gotta,
meet him
yeah,
one
you
day.
gotta put respect on his name.
Put respect on
Yazin Bey.
that man has done
Absolutely.
too much great things. So
Let's get
Yasin
an
Bey.
air horn for Yazin Bey.
Yeah.
All right.
Ayo.
Shout out.
Shout out to Yazin and Talib Kweli, whose music
Yes,
I've been
Talib.
enjoying for
Wow.
since the 90s.
If he's listening, if he ever listens, Eternal Sunshine, that song with I forgot the vocalist, but I think it's Venus Sky or something. Fire. Beautiful. I have to look it up. Let me look it up so I can shout out
Go
the
ahead and
song.
look that up so we can give proper shout outs.
Yeah, let me give
Proper
him
shouts.
proper shout outs. to this.
But I mean, I'm definitely gonna start listening to Philosophize This.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
gonna check that
gonna-
out.
Oh, I'm gonna definitely bring some of the topics that I gleaned from that because I feel like he be touching on some fire stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, other than that, not very many podcasts lately because I'm so busy. Not because I'm important. It's just
just we live in New York City, guys.
Yeah, survival and all that. But and I'm gonna pass it to young James Dean.
Hey,
Ooh.
sheesh. I wish. Actually, I don't wish, but
Nah, don't wish that.
yeah, huge admirer. I'm sure I'll have numerous references to him
Absolutely.
throughout our recordings here. But okay, so refresh me here. What was our question exactly?
We were just talking about the podcast that inspire us.
Oh yes, that was my question.
To this current moment.
Yeah. I think for me, yeah. I mean, I'm a huge, I'm a really big fan, almost more so of the interviewee, the person that's interviewing. Sometimes I get more of a kick and a rise out of them, sometimes than the actual guest. Somebody that comes to mind immediately, who I know I've spoken to both y'all about, is Dick Cavett. He had a TV show in, like, I want to say maybe the early to mid 60s. It probably spanned until maybe the late 70s. But he just had such an incredible set of guests. I mean, we're talking everybody from Salvador Dali to John Lennon
Wow.
to Alfred
Salvador Dali.
Hitchcock
Wow.
to Janis Joplin, who actually gave her last interview with him, to Jimi Hendrix to Yoko Ono. I mean, literally everybody. And I highly implore not only y'all but any listeners to check out his work if you have any inclination towards interviews, because not only is he like humorous and insightful, but just Dick Cavett, he really just has like this natural finesse and kind of swagger to him that I really admire, and asks such great questions and is really great at humanizing people and not just putting them on this like cheesy daytime pedestal. So I'm really a huge fan of his, and hopefully I could not replicate, but kind of continue on his his interviewing style and just like the tidbits that he hits on. And he's actually still alive. He's still alive.
still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive. He's
Oh,
like
nice.
probably 90 plus.
Shout out to still cooking in your 90s.
Yeah,
Oh,
shout out to
man, yeah,
Kicking
he's
in the
killing it.
90s.
Kicking in the 90s. No
Um,
throwbacks.
And also that speaks to me in terms of again, just the importance of like audio and visual recording. I mean, again, because like how many other outlets can we have for a Jimi Hendrix interview or a Truman Capote interview? Like there's not many sources again so eloquently recorded and like such a thoughtful conversation. So that's just so important to me, and I hope to capture some of that, with our own very recordings.
I think we
so
can.
Absolutely, I know we can.
It will take time, but with finesse and effort, I think we'll level up.
Certainly. And outside of that, yeah, I hope to just bring insight and humor and comfort and friendliness and just like a general companionship among not only us three but to all of our listeners. It's just one big happy family that we can all
Also I want to give give a shout out to New York City, and
I know. I think
we
we glossed over that.
yeah we did gloss over it, the fact that we are very very New York centric.
Very much so. Where are we recording from?
I don't know how in depth of the location you want me to give.
Lafayette Street.
Recording live from Manhattan at 773.
Yeah, please.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Dox. I don't know. I'm kind of a proponent of doxing, but I
Oh
suppose
my-
I won't hit myself that hard.
Yeah, don't hit yourself.
But
at
we're
least yet.
coming down from downtown Manhattan. We are in the Soho neighborhood,
Yes, lower east side for me.
Lower East Side.
Yeah,
We're
a lot of dreams happen.
yeah. There's a ton of stuff happening.
So much. All of our lives have like coalesced around this neighborhood, or a lot of people's lives in the city coalesced around this neighborhood. And I feel like
Absolutely.
Lower East Side, we should do an episode specific to Lower East Side. I'm gonna leave this.
Oh
one
my
saying that,
gosh,
because Lower East Side, in terms of
we
art,
really should. That's a great idea.
yeah, art and just this area generally for art movements and
Mhm.
just a crowd and just like for fun moments, because we were joking around earlier about like just having sections about just laughing in
For
the
real.
street.
You know, I've bored many a people who, I mean, my girlfriend specifically on just like, oh, did you actually know that if a street sign is brown, that means it's a historic district versus a green sign, which means that it's all
I
good
did
to
not
go.
know that.
Really?
Oh my
Wow.
gosh! See,
Wow.
like just dropping gems.
So
Dropping
yeah, if
gems.
I guess that's one brief tidbit that we can go into further on our next EP. But yeah, if a street sign is brown, that means it's a historic district, and you can't. Or I guess more so, there's heavy restrictions and regulations to altering any of the building facades, the buildings themselves. But if it's green, then that means it's pretty much free reign to do what you will.
yeah,
But yeah, so I absolutely love all of the architecture, all the history. I mean, for as infant as the United States of America actually is in comparison to other places,
facts.
New York City is certainly the most historically
Rich.
important, rich. Yeah, so many different things. And fun fact, actually, this is not particularly fun, but it's a fact. It's interesting. Actually, right around the corner, perhaps for any listeners digging through, right around the corner is actually where Heath Ledger's apartment was, where he tragically passed away.
Whoa.
Oh wow.
Yeah, right there on Broome and Lafayette.
Wow.
But anyways, yeah, the city is completely littered with facts and history at every which way you turn. So I highly back the historical
Yes.
breakdown. I think that'd be a great EP.
We are
yeah,
of the
that's-
city.
That's gonna be.
We are
That's
absolutely.
definitely gonna be an episode.
Yeah.
So before we go, gotta give a shout out to Talib Kweli earlier. We were
Yes,
talking
yes.
about,
I
the
found
album Reflection Eternal.
Yes.
Whoa! All right,
yes,
I'll tune
because
into
it's
that.
not even in his mainline discography. It was a hip hop duo.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah, I found it because I like crate digging for my own like pleasure. So
Wow.
it was an album released, I believe, in 2000.
Yeah, I believe it's like 2000, 2001.
2000,
but,
2001
Reflection
with the-
Eternal.
Yes,
was-
with the it says the producer High Tech.
yes.
Yes.
Reflection Eternal was the group name that they came up with.
Yes,
I
and
believe
the album was Train of Thought.
There you go, Train of Thought.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
That-
a really great album artwork as well.
Yeah,
But I remember listening to that album, like riding the bus to and from school and walking around
What-
Texas.
What
Yes.
were you listening on?
Of course, a CD player.
CD player.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like it's
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
Walkman.
Was it a Walkman? I don't know if I could afford a Walkman back then.
What would you?
maybe.
What? That's a
I
genuine
mean,
question
I've
too.
gone through so many different.
Shout out to
CD
analog.
players. Yo, shout out to analog. Shout out to
But
being
what is
able
a
to
C-
touch and feel.
Okay, sorry. Now I'm intrigued on a walk. So it was a Walkman, just like
A
a
Walkman,
sleek
I think, I believe
version of a
ended up
CD player?
being. Well, a Walkman originally was the, I believe, the cassette players, and I could be completely wrong about this, but I believe it's also a brand.
It was a Sony
But I mean,
product, I believe.
was it? Yeah, but a Walkman. Immediately when I hear Walkman, I think of a cassette player.
But as a CD, what's a CD
Uh,
player? I'm of
Like
this generation. I
a
should
compact
know.
disc player was well. For those of you who don't know, before we stored all of our music on one device, we had to carry around CDs, and those CDs were albums, EPs, whatever, LPs.
or you could bring your own mixtape
yes, we
and
were-
and
That's what
well,
you were doing. It.
it's-
Well,
8 months.
mixtapes come from an older generation. I forgot which one, but you could burn music into cassettes, or like you would basically wait. From what I understanding, I don't know why I'm saying this because I'm the youngest. I'm farthest removed from this. I'm farthest
He's
removed.
putting us on, Trent.
Yeah, let's tell me what is a mixtape?
Yeah.
No, but
Never
I
heard
think
of this tape that mixes.
Senzier says, "What is a mixtape?"
Wait, did
I'm actually think I'm a millennial.
Yeah, like,
What's that? But anyway.
no. For me, I'm Gen Z.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Zoomer? You damn Zoomers.
I'm a Zoomer.
in your
dude.
mixtapes.
I'm a mixtape. Oh my gosh! But a mixtape, I think you would have to put the tape. Why did I put myself in this position?
No. I don't even want to finish my answer. This is entertaining. Yes. What is it?
Like, hold up. I think you put you put the cassette in the radio, right? I mean, in the console of your car, right?
Mhm.
You wait for the song you want to record on the radio. You press record. You can record the snippet of the song. You hope the DJ doesn't like scream on it, and then DJ.
DJ Dirty Rex.
Yeah, like
messing
some,
up your mixtape.
yeah, like
So what? And then
like you
thus
just hear the bang bong and like, oh my gosh, just messed up my my Madonna. Like
No, that's actually pretty accurate.
Really?
and then
Yeah.
you would do that multiple times, and depending on what you wanted the tape to be, you would have a collection of songs, and you're basically like doing photography for music. So you're taking
capturing
the
putting them
moment that'll
together.
play live, and then just replaying it
I mean,
later, and then reinterpreting it by stitching together the two mixes and stuff, and that'll be your mixtape.
Interesting.
Oh no, that's pretty accurate. I mean, later on, when radios and everything became ubiquitous, you didn't have to wait in your car. You can do that from the comfort of your room.
Oh
But
yeah,
no, you're pretty close. But I mean, eventually that became CDs, which were compact disc, as we were saying earlier. It fits more music than an actual cassette tape.
Yeah.
And you'd put like just a bunch of songs on there, and sometimes if you're clever, you had a theme, which I did way back in high school, but not gonna talk about that. But yeah.
Yeah, for reasons we're gonna have to leave that on.
Yeah. But anyway, I think we're gonna bring this episode to a close.
Woo!
We got any thank yous we want to send out?
Thank you to those who were genuinely interested, at least from my perspective,
Yes,
of like bringing
people-
up a podcast. Because some it's like, oh, that's cool, like, and then like they don't even bother to bat an eye. But those who were like, yo, that's really cool. Like, yo, where can we listen to it? Shout out to y'all. Chances are y'all
Shouts out to
may be
supporters.
listening. If you made it all the way to this point, then man, you're in it for the long run.
You
We
are
love
a
y'all.
champion.
Yeah.
That's my only thank you. My
are
only
the
one. No, I'm just kidding.
No one else.
Y'all know who
Thank
you
you.
are.
You know who you
But
are.
yeah, thankful for the opportunity. Thankful for y'all. That's me.
Yeah.
Eclectic Sage, who are you thinking?
Whoa.
today?
So wow, the artist name. Oh my gosh, I'm still getting used to it. I'm still getting used to it.
Would you prefer Mr. Stage?
Mr. Stage. You know, one time I performed and they're like electric stage, and I was like, oh my gosh,
Electric stage.
is it a trap on
'Cause
there?
he's
Like, are you guys gonna?
electrifying the
Are you guys
stage,
gonna?
people?
Are you guys gonna like shock me? Like, am I standing there? Is it like a bar, like electrified fence? Like, if I stand on it, like electric stage. Like,
That's hilarious. Yo, when when I game online, I use Black Ronin, and some people call me
fire.
Black Robin. Black Robin. Black Robin. It's like, oh my god! But I'm sorry. Thank yous.
Thank yous. Thank you to you guys. You guys really like pushed me to keep on going with this idea.
Much obliged, sir.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and general thank yous to everyone that asked, everyone that's like supporting me now, and everyone that will support me or won't support me. Just thankful for life.
We love our haters.
Yeah.
Well, Christian took my thank you. I was going to thank y'all, but thank you to Christian who couldn't thank himself for showing up, and thank you to you, Lucas, for showing up in your own apartment.
Certainly,
Yes.
home court
Yes.
advantage. I slept in today.
How'd you prepare?
Oh my
Well,
gosh,
I
the
fluffed
trains!
my pillow.
I would go on, but the trains were crazy this morning. Oh my gosh.
That they were.
The trains be crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you.
No
to,
shout outs to the MTA crickets.
No shout outs to the MTA. You get nothing but crickets. A round of silence for MTA.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that I love that. I love that.
Well, no editing there.
you
That
can
was
see
no
how
edits, no
raw.
edits.
You can see how traumatized we are, which we will talk about later.
Oh
But
my god, we have to have a history of the MTA. Multiple episodes.
Yeah.
oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
There's so many
Oh
iterations.
yes,
You can
that's
just-
gonna happen.
Yes.
But anyway, if you've made it this far, once again, thank you to everyone in my life who supported me, who helped lift me up on their shoulders and got me to the point that I am today.
Woo!
And thank you to all those people who will exist, because there's more
Yes.
life to live, people. And
Love is abundant. Somebody told me that,
guys-
and that was deep and profound to me. I was like, wow.
it is.
I think that's a
It
great note
is.
to end on right there. Love is
Yes.
abundant.
Love is abundant.
abundant.
All right, folks. Peace.